We have news on where the Exorcist franchise is going next, and all I can say is, wow, wow.
Let's get down to brass tacks.
Guys, we have gotten news on where the Exorcist franchise is going to go, and Mike Flanagan is going to direct the next Exorcist film. He sent out on his Twitter page saying, "So excited we can finally confirm this." An article in Deadline went deeper into this, so let's talk about that. And I'm also going to tell you guys what this might mean for the franchise going forward, and also something that I'm really hoping for in this next film. Blumhouse has made official that which is already out there. The Dr. Sleep filmmaker Mike Flanagan is writing, directing, and producing a radical new take on The Exorcist in a film with the genre producer and Morgan Creek. This all comes in the wake of the last movie, The Exorcist Believer, flailing at the box office with 65.5 million in the US and Canada and 136.2 million worldwide. Blumhouse bought the rights from Morgan Creek back in July 2021 for $400 million. David Gordon Green, the director of that movie, withdrew from the next installment. There's a reason why a movie like The Exorcist is so hard to do, and I think that's because of what the story is about. It was about a young girl that was possessed by a demon and her mother fighting for both of their lives to be taken back to normal. And then you have the priest who's involved who has a crisis of conscience. It's so many layered things in that original film, and it's one of the greatest films of all time, a huge favorite of mine. If you guys have been around the channel long enough, you know that. And it was always going to be tough to follow in the footsteps of that first movie, and we've seen that with every single sequel, with the exception of The Exorcist 3, which I think is a fantastic film, and I absolutely love that one as well, starring George C. Scott. The next movie about demon-possessed people and the Jesuit priests that wrangle them is billed as a, quote, all-new story set in the Exorcist universe and is not a sequel to 2023's The Exorcist Believer, per the press release. The picture will be produced by Trevor Macy on behalf of Intrepid Pictures and Flanagan via his new Red Room Pictures banner. Mike Flanagan stated, "The Exorcist is one of the reasons I became a filmmaker, and it is an honor to have the chance to try something fresh, bold, and terrifying within its universe. Reuniting with my friends at Blumhouse, with whom I've made some of my favorite pieces of work, only makes this more exciting." Mike's voice and vision are indispensable for horror fans, and we are excited to welcome him back to Blumhouse. I immediately responded to Mike's new take on the world of The Exorcist, and I can't wait for audiences to experience it, said Blumhouse boss Jason Blum. The thing that really is exciting about this is, number one, Mike Flanagan is such a gifted filmmaker. If you have not seen his work, really all of his work, you've got to check it out. Whether it's Oculus, Dr. Sleep, The Haunting of Hill House, The Midnight Club, Midnight Mass. I mean, the list goes on and on. Hush. I have enjoyed all of his work, and he has a specific vision and a way that he can connect a story to the characters and connect that to the audience. And I think that's very, very special. When we had heard that they were doing a new Exorcist movie, we had talked about different directors and people to jump on board. And I said from the beginning, Mike Flanagan is one of those directors that I would love to see his take on The Exorcist. And after Believer came out and was so divisive, I personally didn't hate it. I think it had a hell of a lot of missteps, and it was something that didn't seem to have the heart that it needed. It shied away from the strengths that it did have. But again, it was a film that definitely didn't need to be made, and it was not at the level it needed to be an Exorcist movie. Now, with Mike Flanagan coming on board as a director, in my opinion, he's going to be the greatest director of this franchise right after William Friedkin. There is no one else, and there's much respect to William Peter Blatty, but the thing about Mike Flanagan is he's so good with story and character. And The Exorcist is a franchise where you have to have characters that you can be invested in. That's what the problem was with Believer. You couldn't really connect with the characters like you would have wanted to, like I would have wanted to. They had moments, and I definitely think there was possibilities, but they had too many missteps in that film. So now we get a chance to have a movie that, in my opinion, has the best chance to become a great Exorcist film. And there's no director I'd rather have than Mike Flanagan. This is absolutely exciting news. Here's the thing that I think is very exciting, the way I'm looking at what this means for the Exorcist franchise, is that right now, anyways, it looks as though we're talking about Mike Flanagan doing one film. We're not projecting ahead, doing a trilogy, and having all these pieces laid out ahead of us before we even finish one good movie. Now, this movie, who knows? Maybe it won't be great, but I can almost guarantee it's going to be good. Mike Flanagan has always delivered when he does his movies. He is so talented. But what's interesting as well is that they at least figured out, hey, we have to scrap these plans for this trilogy for the Exorcist Deceiver and the Exorcist Receiver and all this other type of stuff that's going to be that they thought that they were going to be doing. Let's just go back to basics. Let's just do one movie and see if we can hit a home run. And they've got a good shot. Mike Flanagan is very used to having a certain revolving cast that he works with through all of his Netflix shows and so forth. And man, wouldn't that be really cool if we can get this Exorcist film with some of those great talents, whether you're talking about his wife, Kate Siegel, whether you're talking about Henry Thomas, Victoria Pedretti, Oliver Jackson Cohen, and so many others. I mean, that would be so cool to see these fantastic actors get their chance to be in what could be a great horror film. Time will only tell, but for you guys, let me know in the comment section down below. What do you think? Are you excited about this news for the new Exorcist film? Are you a fan of Mike Flanagan? Have you checked out his other work? Let's talk about it down in the comment section. Don't forget to hit the like button. It helps to support the channel, and I'd appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the Nightwatch Zone, this is the time to do it. Do it and become part of this fantastic movie community where you'll never love and talk about movies the same. And if you like this video, check out some of my other videos that I'm sure you're going to enjoy, and I'll catch you guys later. If you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you are the Nightwatch. Peace.